Welcome to NEXTGames Ambuscade series. Today, we'll be going over the January 2022 Ambuscade against Tigers. Now I'm going to start by going into battle strategies that I recommend this month for a variety of jobs, and then I'll show you some battle examples using those strategies and party setups. Let's start with key item acquisition. This month, you need 1 beast kill for your first key item of the day, and 3 beast kills for multiple key items in the day. There are lots of places around Vanadil that you can get these kills, but my favorite spot is Khmer Drifts, home point number 1, as there are 3 Tigers and 2 Raz right near it for easy KI acquisition. Now I'm sure this won't be enough for more populated servers this month, so be sure to mention any good camps you've found down there in the comments. Now, on to the fight for this month. It's against a single Tiger called Durga that has the ability to spawn either 3 additional Tigers called Amur or a Golden Bomb for a 200 Hallmark boost. First, let's talk about these ads, as they are the most important mechanic this month. These ads will be spawned as soon as the mob hits 49% hit points. Now I've noticed that if you use a multi-hit weapon skill to take him past this threshold, the Golden Bomb spawns every time, 12 times in a row now. Meanwhile, if I don't use a multi-hit weapon skill to take him past that threshold, I've only seen him spawn twice in 9 runs, so it definitely appears to be something related to that multi-hit weapon skill that is in fact triggering the Golden Bomb. Therefore, if you have the ability to perform a multi-hit weapon skill this month, I suggest you make this key to your strategy for an easy 500 Hallmarks in just 2 to 3 minutes. Start a 4-step skill chain at about 75% hit points on Durga. This should make it so that your 4th step will take you to the low 40% hit point threshold on Durga and normally spawn immediately that Golden Bomb. Then just do another 4-step skill chain to finish him off and get your easy 500 Hallmarks in just 2 to 3 minutes. Now if you're unable to perform a multi-step skill chain, I recommend just using a normal skill chain to take him down as quickly as possible. The Tigers that spawn aren't that dangerous and can be taken out fairly quickly. If you're doing a good amount of damage, you can choose to ignore the spawn Tigers entirely and just keep doing damage to Durga. However, if you are a returning player who is not yet well geared, I would suggest taking out those Tigers as soon as they spawn to make your life a little bit easier. Next, let's talk about the abilities that you're going to see used this month. The first is Razor Fang, which is a single target and damage ability that is of little risk to you. The next is Claw Cyclone, which is a conal damage ability so you don't want anyone standing behind you or the tank, and it will remove 3 shadows. Next is Cross Thratch, which is a conal damage ability, so again, no one behind you, and will remove 2 shadows. If this does do any damage to you, it's also going to knock you back. The next ability is Roar. Now as long as you have high enough magic evasion, you're actually normally going to resist this, but if you are a new or returning player, more than likely you're going to get paralyzed during this fight quite a bit. I recommend making sure that you have Yoran Oran or another trust similar to them so that they can quickly get that paralyze off of you as soon as Roar goes off. Now the last 2 abilities are kind of situational. The first is Disorienting Wall. This is used only once, right at 49%, and will give you amnesia and triggers either the spawn of the Golden Bomb or the 3 Amur Tigers. Now this amnesia is usually going to last anywhere from 5 to 20 seconds, so know that as soon as those Tigers spawn, you are at least going to have to stop your weapon skilling for a period of time. The second ability that is kind of situational is Gurgis Grip. Now I've only seen him use this when all 3 Tigers are out, and it is quite frustrating as it'll normally stun you for about 5 seconds, which is frustrating towards the end of your run. So if you're struggling with this Gurgis Grip ability, go ahead and take out those Tigers so he stops using it. Next, I'm going to show you 4 battle examples of this month's Ambuscade on Very Difficult. First, we'll be using Ninja, using a multi-hit skill chain to spawn the Golden Bomb. Next, I will show you 4 battle examples of this month's Ambuscade on Very Difficult. First will be Ninja, using a multi-step skill chain to spawn that Golden Bomb and take him out as quickly as possible. Second will be Red Mage, using normal skill chains to take out the main NM and ignore the ads entirely. Next will be Dragoon, once again using a multi-step skill chain to show you how quickly DDs can take this one out and spawn that Golden Bomb. In my last example, I'm going to show both new and returning players how I suggest they take this one on this month from a lesser geared standpoint. In this run, I will use my Ninja using only gear obtained from Ambuscade and events previous to that, and I won't be using any gear swaps, so that I'm in that same Ambuscade gear for the entire run. Now before we move on to the battle examples, I just want to mention that the NEXTGames merch shop is officially launching this Friday. You can get to it by clicking on the icon in the Next Game banner or by going to nextmerch.myspreadshop.com. Now there you can find lots of Next brand merch as well as customize what you buy with your own designs if you wish. All purchases help support the Next Games channel. Look for a video to be out on Friday of this week when the shop officially launches, going over the shop and its customizations. Now let's get to those battle examples. So on my fully geared ninja, we're going to be using Koltada to increase our attack, Joachim for marches, Korumoru for dia and haste. Then we're going to be using Shantoto 2 to inflict magic damage, as the developers seem to imply that doing different forms of damage would help that golden bomb spawn. And then lastly, we're going to be using Yoran Oran for cures. Let's go ahead and see how this multi-step strategy goes. Enjoy the run, everyone. And here we are on my well-geared red mage example. Now here, we are planning on those tigers spawning at 49% because we're just using a simple two-step skill chain strategy. Therefore, we're using Valinariel because therefore when those tigers spawn, he'll more than likely use his AoE weapon skill and get hate on all of them quite easily. Additionally, we'll be using Koltada for some extra attack, Joachim for marches, Shantoto 2 once again for some extra magic burst damage as we're doing those two-step skill chains, and then lastly, Yoran Oran for cures and to keep paralyze off us. I also want to point out that Enfeebles land very well on Durga, so you definitely want to enfeeble him fully before you start to get your damage in. Enjoy the run, everyone. Here we are at Dragoon, a second multi-step skill chain example. While on Ninja we used a 4-step Radiant skill chain, here on Dragoon we'll be using a 4-step Umbra skill chain. You want to be sure not to start this skill chain until 75% hit points, or you'll end up ending that Umbra skill chain before the 50% threshold and more than likely spawning Tigers. Now, since we weren't planning on Tiger spawning for our run, we're using Arc EV to tank for us. We're using Joaquin for marches, Korumoru for haste, Shantoto 2 for some extra magic burst damage, and lastly, Yoran Oran for cures and to keep that paralyze off of us. Let's go ahead and see how our Dragoon battle example goes. Enjoy the run, everyone. Here we are at the fourth and final battle example, using my Ninja and not allowing any gear swaps and using only Ambuscade, gear, and weapons. Now this is designed to show both new and returning players how it is they should be taking on this content, as more than likely the previous 3 battle examples will be unattainable for them at this time. Now when you're taking on Durga in this ungeared state, some of the things that you're going to have to contend with that you wouldn't have had to contend with in the previous battle examples are you're going to get paralyzed a lot easier. So Yoran Oran is even more important. Additionally, things like the stuns for when the Tigers are out, as well as amnesia, will last a lot longer because your magic evasion isn't as high. Therefore, when using these strategies, I definitely recommend taking out those Tigers, the adds, as soon as they spawn. Be sure to enfeeble Durga with all of the standard enfeebles, and then also be ready to drop things like Warcry and Mystique again when those adds spawn to make sure that you can hold hate on them for long enough time to take them out and they don't start running around and going after people like Yoran Oran. Other than that, this should be a fairly straightforward fight for returning players and a fairly easy 300 hallmarks in about 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and see how the rest of this battle example goes. Enjoy the run, everyone. that's going to be it for the January 2022 Ambuscade against Tigers. I hope you found that helpful. If this is your first time to my channel and you enjoyed the content, please be sure to click the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it to be notified when my future videos are released. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great month. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.